They're doing another spinoff. I don't think I'm a part of it.
Would you want to be part of it?
I go back and forth.
When you're filming a shootout at an airport.
Coolest thing ever. That was actually one of the coolest scenes I've ever done in my life.
Is there an armorer? Are they teaching you?
Yeah,
Are you using real weapons?
They're obviously like fake weapons with like
rubber bullets.
blanks.
The podcast is posting clips and stuff.
Yep.
Is there anything happening with that?
Yes, we're in the midst of bringing it back, which I'm excited. The most insane thing ever was when 50 came up to me at breakfast. It was still a Universal, Blumhouse, Octavia Spencer, Juliette Lewis, Luke Evans. Like,
was it promising in your head that it might be a success?
I thought it was gonna be way more of a success.
Couched there, snack wall, bam. Maybe like a projector situation going on over here, hang weird lights, speakers over there, rugs all in here, and then just like a real table for flip cup, beer pong.
I'll get right on that as soon as I win the lottery.
I mean, unless you hate being cool.
Pretty cool, huh?
What's up? My name's Joe. Welcome to the Lightweights Podcast. I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Aonic and FanDuel.
You produce and do all this yourself.
Everything.
It's unbelievable.
So I'm going to just make sure everything's good.
Wait, how did you get a Nutella with your name on it?
They love me.
Really?
I got
Wait, do
3.
you promote them a lot or something?
No, it just came in the mail one day.
That is one of the cool things about being in the industry for me is like the weird little cool shit like that. I don't know why. Like, that's cool.
Nutella.
Like, you grew up eating Nutella and they're like, they just know who I am?
Joe.
Mr. Nutella knows who I am?
It's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
It just shows up one day.
Yeah.
So Power has such a massive following.
Yeah.
What was it like stepping into that world? Because you came in, was it season 5, season 6?
Season 5.
So crazy.
Yeah. I booked it as one episode and then they liked what I did. This is the longer, it's a long story, but like they liked what I did. I improv'd a ton. They brought me back for season 6, wrote me a whole storyline.
Were you watching the show already so you knew what to improv?
It was funny because I had I was dead broke. I had nothing. I was booking here and there. I was actually living off of Abercrombie voiceover spots, which is what I was like, what I'd booked. So I was living off that money.
Can you give us one?
The one that was most popular, it was called This Is the Time. And I was like, this is the time. And it went into this whole thing like about being a youthful and teen. It was like all this stuff. My voice sounded a little different back then because I was like maybe like 20 or 21. But they wrote me back in for season 6. I had not seen the show. My parents watched the show. I almost didn't even audition for it because I had just booked Ma like 2 days before I got the audition for it. It was a local hire, which means I had to fly myself, put myself up. I was losing a couple $1,000s on this co-star. I'm like, why would I do this? Wound up working out where like Christmas, like it was shooting in New York, so I would just go home to Rhode Island for Christmas. My parents were like, I was like, it worked out. Booked it, flew myself, whatever, did the episode. I improv'd a ton. The director was like, it was kind of skeleton crew because everyone was kind of like on break for Christmas anyways. The director let me play, have fun, and I'd done so much onstage improv, so much comedy that I was just ready. And I knew like what I needed to do. I did the scene originally and I fulfilled it. And then the director was like, all right, next couple takes yours. I was like, I'm going crazy.
Wow.
I was like being funny, throwing in random things. Everything that wound up making the show was what I improv, and everything that was written got cut. So I was like, oh, they like me. Then they called me. He's like, oh, we wrote your storyline for season 6.
That's insane for you as an actor.
And the most insane thing ever was when 50 came up to me at breakfast one morning, like around episode 1 or 2, because he was directing episode 3. So he was probably going upstairs and doing prep with everyone. And he came down and he's like, we all think you're so funny. Like, whatever you want to do, just like run with it. And I'm like, I did one episode. Like, how, like, and even like the wardrobe guy, Frank, I went in and he was like, we all thought you were going to be terrible, but you killed it. And I was like, who thought I was going to be terrible? I will never forget that Frank said that to me. But like everyone just like immediately loved me and was like the best. So I did a couple more episodes, and 50 came up to us because he directed episode 3. He came up to us and was like, you guys take over, to me and Michael. Tariq is the character. And then I was never in another episode again. They actually did an extra 5 to close out the show. So they did 15 episodes, season 6. And I was like, damn, 50 Cent lied to me. Like, I took over. I was like, I thought we were taking over. A couple months after that, simultaneously, Ma is about to be in theaters. I'm in $20,000 worth of credit card debt. And the way Blumhouse does it, they pay you SAG minimum, but you get a piece of the back end. And my team fucked up the back end of what the deal was. So I was only getting money if the movie made $50 million domestically. It wound up making 48. Yeah. So I lost like $4,000 in that movie. But on like that movie was coming out on Friday. on Monday, if like it wasn't gonna do 50 million in the first 3 weeks, you could tell opening weekend. Like if it's hitting 8, you're like, this is not hitting 50, because then the next weekend it'll be like 2. Like it always dwindles down, and it had done like 26 or something. So I'm like, maybe like it could make it there. It didn't, but right before that happened, Courtney, the showrunner, called me, and she's like, "You're gonna be the lead of the spinoff with Michael."
Holy shit!
So I was like, "Oh my god, thank God!" And I always do, like, people could have not known that it would have been successful. I always knew it broke all the records of the original Power, the book 2, which was ours, which is a continuation. It broke all the records. Then they did Force, which was another character, went to Chicago. Those numbers didn't do anywhere near ours. And then Raising Kanan, which I think was the best one. It was a prequel of 50 Cent's character, Kanan, because he died in season 4. That one I think was the best one, but it did the least numbers because it was very like 90s and like slow, but it was a slow burn, but like very stylistically beautifully done. The showrunner Sasha did a great job with it.
I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. Real quick, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is making the primetime game of the NFL even bigger, with a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets every game day. That's right, $2 million. Here's how it works. Opt in and place an anytime TD bet in any primetime NFL game using your profit boost. And if the player you pick scores either the first or the last touchdown of the game, you'll earn a share of $2 million in bonus bets. $2 million. First touchdown, you're in. Last touchdown, you're in. Both touchdowns, even better. It's just one more reason to bet on the NFL with FanDuel. So whether you have a feeling on that opening drive or you're banking on that clutch finish, now's the time to get into the game. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So download the FanDuel app today. It's going to be linked down below. And if you want to support this podcast, check out FanDuel. What's up, guys? Real quick, this episode is brought to you by Aonic. Aonic provides clean hydration crafted with magnesium, electrolytes, and real fruit juice. Made for those looking to get the most out of hydration. We've got some sparkling passion fruit, some sparkling orange, and a sparkling raspberry. Aonic is developing the world's most advanced ecosystem for functional nutrition to make healthy living enjoyable. Aonic delivers pure science-driven nutrition, and every formula targets a clear need and delivers benefits you can feel. What I love most about it is that there's no pixie dusting of ingredients, which means they only use clinical validated dosages. Plus, it's third-party verified. Independent labs test every batch and they publish the results. It's got premium natural ingredients from real cacao and vanilla in Aonic Fuel to real fruit juice in Aonic Revive. Plus, the best part, low calories, baby. Only 15 calories in this whole can. Delicious taste, zero artificial, low in sugar and calories. No caffeine or added sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no GMOs. It's just the right amount of fruit juice compared to sweetness. It's really good. We've got some chromium, some B vitamins, some zinc. I love drinking it after a hike. I love drinking it after pickleball. It's really, really good. So if you want to try it, it's going to be linked down below. Stay hydrated, my friends. Now back to the podcast. If your show had so much numbers, why'd they end up canceling it? Or finishing the story?
It was a budget thing. It was a strike and budget thing.
So is there a world where they can bring it back?
They're doing another spinoff. I don't think I'm a part of it.
Would you want to be part of it?
I go back and forth with it. Like, I'd love to pop in and do an episode, but like, I don't know if I want to be like then it's 3 Power shows that I'm on, and it's like, as an actor, like, you want to expand, and that audience is amazing. Like, it's so big, but Hollywood doesn't know who I am. So like, all those guys, no matter how you can't walk down the street, this and that, Hollywood, you're always just going to be auditioning again. As opposed to like these guys in Euphoria, they're never auditioning ever again. They're just straight offers. Like, you're like, there's people who are A-listers from in the Power universe, and they're just back in the audition line for like recurrings, and it's like, it's unheard of. It's really a disconnect in my eyes. But yeah, I'd like to do an episode here and there, but I don't know if I want to be on it full time.
How'd you feel about your character once he came to an end? Did you feel like his story served what it needed to?
No, I think that everything, because we didn't know we were ending, so everything wound up being open-ended, in my opinion, because the writer's strike had just happened, sloppy. And I think that there needed to be more of like a close and like what really was the situation, in my opinion. Like, I feel like each character needed more of like an ending or whatever, but we didn't know we were ending, so they couldn't really do it. And plus, the last 3 months of shooting, we didn't have any writers.
Who was writing it? Oh, because the strike.
They wrote the episodes,
so
but there
no
was
tweaking.
no edits, no anything. That was it. And it's like, okay, like, so that's the end of the show.
Right.
Like, no really writers and that.
They could bring it back.
For sure. But
Even a special, a 2-hour special.
They could, but they're just going to continue it with whatever they're going to do with Tariq and I think Tommy's character, which is great. Like, they should do that.
Yeah.
And that people will watch it forever. You know, it's amazing. But I think that the whole ending it just was a budget thing. I think our episodes were like $13-14 million an episode.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But the viewership was there, so it wasn't like unwarranted. They canceled it way too early. I think they just needed to tweak some things, but I think that they just panicked and were like, no, we'll just do a different show, I guess.
When you're filming a shootout at an airport.
Coolest thing ever. That was actually one of the coolest scenes I've ever done in my life.
Is there an armorer? Are they teaching you
Yeah,
that?
for
Are you
sure.
using real weapons?
They're obviously like fake weapons with like
Rubber bullets.
the blanks.
Yeah.
Our show was very serious about guns. Even before all the stuff happened with Alec Baldwin, like our show always took it very seriously. So there's an armorer in Brooklyn that does all the John Wick movies. They train everyone. So even if you've had 30 gun scenes before, if you have a gun scene that day, a couple of days prior, they'll work it out with your schedule. Car will pick you up. They take you to the armor, and you run through the scene in this room. It's one of the coolest rooms I've ever seen in my life.
So you did this with your co-stars?
Yeah, and you would run through the scenes with like, okay, here, these are the guns you're going to do. Feel it, shoot it, do all this and that. And they would just like let you kind of go crazy in the room and have fun with it. And then, so on the day, you know how to... Also, if you're a criminal, you're going to know how to work this gun. You can't be day of, be like, oh, what do I do? You know what I mean? So because our budget was so handsome that they like took like everything we did was like planned, prepared, everything.
What for you as an actor, like this is a huge show to be part of.
Yeah.
What was the most mind-blowing thing as you're just looking around, you're like, I can't believe this is in my trailer. I can't believe that I'm doing this alongside somebody else. Like what really blew you away? Because you feel a $15 million budget.
For sure. Weirdly, like this is also a thing that they could have done. They could have cut the budget maybe by like $4 million an episode and not have done some of the crazy locations that were actually unnecessary that we did, but made the show great. Like they would just shut down Fifth Ave on like a Tuesday at noon, and we're just shooting on Fifth Ave. I'm like, it's a conversation. This could have been $8 in the back of like the stages where we shoot, but they're like, we want it to be grand on Fifth Ave, like Central Park, like all this shit. They would shut it down, and it looks great on my reel. It looked amazing on the show, but like you guys wasted $250,000 that day, easy, maybe a half.
Right.
So,
what kind of shenanigans are happening that kind of ruin the flow? Are people honking that you have to hold for
all the time? And because our show is such a New York show, like people love our show in New York, so they're like Tariq, Brayden. They're like
in the middle of the take.
Yeah, they're like, you're not supposed to know who these guys are, but it just made it so much like cooler. We were doing a scene actually one night in
I love this. Okay,
I forgot where we were. I've told this story on my podcast too, or Woody did, but basically we were shooting one night, and this was season 1 before the show had really popped. Of the original, so people didn't really know who I was. They knew who Tariq was, but they didn't know me and Kane's character. So me and him are shooting, and it's like 4 or 5 in the morning, and these guys pull up. The music is banging, it's loud, and they're in the way. They know what they're doing. They're being assholes, and it was my coverage. The sun's about to come up. I'm like, this is my big scene. Like, what the? So I see these guys. I just roll down the window, and they're like looking at me like, they're trappers. They've been out all night. We're on their block. And I'm like, so I rolled down the window. I was like, can you just fucking move your car, bro? And the whole crew was like, what the fuck? Like, these guys were like, what the fuck did you just say? I'm like, just move the fucking car. Like, you see we're shooting. They wound up moving and we finished it. But then we shot in that same location like a year later. Everyone knew who we were at this point. My character, but I was shooting with Tariq and another character, Effie. And so we're walking, and there's like a high rise, and there was like everyone had come out on their balcony, and they were just yelling, Tariq, Brayden, like just yelling. I'm like, guys, I know you guys love the show, but like we're not going to be able to give you more episodes if you keep yelling, because it was a walk and talk, so they just kept messing up takes. And it was actually, they were kind of cool with it. They're like, all right, we're sorry. And I was like, at the end, well, whatever, but like, can we just do the take? And they just sat up there and watched it. It was kind of cool. It was like live theater.
That's why the budget's so much.
Sure.
You got to take some time to film it.
Yeah.
Jeez. Can we go back to Ma?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that had a $5 million budget. Mm-hmm. Did it feel like, that's pretty small for a movie, but did that feel like a tight thing? Because Blumhouse also runs so well.
It was my first big movie. So like it was still a Universal, Blumhouse, Octavia Spencer, Juliette Lewis, Luke Evans, like legends. So
Was it promising in your head that it might be a success?
I thought it was going to be way more of a success. It was weird. Like after we had shot it, I for some reason I thought we had just made Get Out. Like I'm like, this is going to be the biggest movie ever. But I'm a very optimistic person too. So like that's just how my brain works. I'm not going to sign on to something that I'm like. But back then I just wanted to be a working actor, so I probably would have done anything. But for some reason I was like, this is going to be the biggest movie of all time. Now it wound up being a little bit of a disappointment, maybe box office wise. It still was successful and made money, but I think
Didn't they like 60 million though?
Yeah, but they thought it was going to be like they thought it was it was tracking like Get Out and all this stuff like in the box office. They thought it was going to be way bigger. It didn't, but it wound up being like a big meme and like it grew over time. Like way more people watched it on Netflix and all this stuff than they did in theaters, and it still was a commercial success.
I love that movie when it came out.
Yeah, I thought it was fun too. Like, look,
it was a unique concept, great acting.
Yeah, sometimes I think that people are looking for like, you don't need to change the world with a movie. Sometimes people just want to be entertained, and that's okay too. But like sometimes they're like, well, what's the message or what's this? It's like, does there need to be a message? It's an old woman that's like being weird with like, it was fun. It was like a fun concept. But I didn't maybe really know about the budgets and how things work. Like my trailer was a little smaller than I had maybe expected or seen on like Will Smith's Instagram story. I'd be like, well, didn't Mark Wahlberg have like a Winnebago? Like, why do I have this small little thing? But I don't know. I was just so happy and excited. And that movie was such a fun time because the way that the director, he lives in Mississippi and he shoots everything where he lives. So they built Ma's house right next to his house.
Oh, they built that house for the movie?
Built the house for the movie. And it was literally right next to where he lives.
He just went home and watched
literally,
the dailies,
and we stayed like they own another property right next door to it. So we just stayed at that property and it was the coolest thing ever. It was like summer camp. And then we went to their house at night and it's like an architectural digest, like beautiful home. So everyone would just like, you know, Octavia and Juliette and everyone would just like sing and dance and eat. Like they made homemade food every night with the cast. It was so cool. So I didn't have any expectations. I was like, this is what it's like making a movie.
Did you learn anything from Octavia while watching her perform?
Something that was interesting to me is that she learns lines also while she's like doing activities almost. So like I remember specifically what's coming to mind is like she had to iron my stomach and she had this big monologue for each kid what she was doing to them. And she was like, oh no, at that point I do this. So it was kind of cool seeing like her at this word I do this and then she kind of worked like mechanically, which was like really cool to see because she, you know, as an actor, sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know what to do with my hands or this and that if you're not doing anything. But she worked physically and mentally at the same time. I was like, that's interesting because for me, that's kind of how I started to work after I saw her do it, especially on Power. Like there's always a lot of movement in like scenes like walk and talks or we're putting guns together or taking off our clothes that we just had blood on. So I learned a lot and started working like that after I did Ma.
Are you consciously trying to make sure that it's the same actions on the words?
Yes, because
continuity?
Yeah, continuity. Maybe film is a little more, you have a little more freedom, but like TV's such like a greased wheel and you have to do kind of, you know what I mean? So you can't like fuck with a lot of, you know, of what's in place. So I like to do it on the line because then when they're doing their coverage, you know, they don't want to have to go, oh, well, he took his shirt off on this line, but then on the previous take, he took his shirt off on this line. You want to make it smooth for the edit. So also your stuff comes out good and they use your face more. And like, because if you're not they're going to cut away from you because they don't want to see what's wrong.
Is there a script supervisor trying to make sure of that too, though, on set?
Sometimes, but I think on Power, they gave us a lot of freedom. Like really, like if I wanted to go, I don't really like taking my shirt off on that line, 10 takes in, they would just go, all right, just let him do what he wants. Like really, but realistically, you should kind of always, and I always was like that too. I wanted to make it easy for them because I was always the bad kid in school, not wanting to do the right thing, not wanting to be a goody two, like never. But for some reason on set, I show up I'm never unprepared. And I always want to like make the director be like, I fucking love working with that kid. And he's always on time. He's funny. He brings so much more to the character than what's on the page. So I don't know what it is that I like being like, oh, he's a real fucking professional, because I was not like that growing up.
This is your passion. School sucks.
For sure. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Do you remember your first day on set of Ma?
My first day on set of Ma. Yes.
What did you walk into? What was your scene?
Our first day on set of Ma, we were filming. It was the van scene.
She buys you alcohol?
No, that was like a week or so in. The van scene where we pick up, I forgot what her character's name is, but Diana Silver's Maggie. We pick her up from her house, and she comes walking out of the house, and she hops in the van, and we all introduce, like, I think we introduced ourselves before, but we kind of like really got to know each other. I don't really remember. I haven't seen it in a minute, but I remember it was like a dewy morning, and we're in some random, like, what I didn't realize about acting is like you're fucking like filming in random people's neighborhoods and houses, and like, the green rooms where like actors' chairs are in between takes, they're in someone's like living room. The same thing with like Power. Like, even though that's like a $14 million budget, like we were shooting sometimes like in the trenches at night. Like our chairs were set up because it's too long to walk back to the trailers because they need to be on another street. You need to use the street. The chairs for the green room are set up in some random convenience store that they book for the night. And sometimes they're still like, let those convenience stores open. So like random customers are walking in and you're like, actors are just sitting there like in chairs, like by like the Fruit Loops. And it's like, hey, what up? It's so weird how not professional, but also professional it is at the same time. So that was kind of what I clocked really early on. I'm like, oh, our green room is just in like this random living room, and we're shooting in this like real neighborhood that like the bus is picking up these kids in the morning to go to school. So I remember it was like a dewy morning, and I didn't have like a I made it moment, but I got very overwhelmed because I'm like, wow. Like, I moved to LA, didn't know one person in the industry, and here I am filming a movie with fucking Octavia Spencer. Like, this is so cool. And it wasn't like a small like indie movie. Like, this is like a Universal Blumhouse movie. I'm
Going
like,
to every theater around the country.
I'm like, holy shit. Like, it was so cool to me.
Was Blum on set?
He came to visit for a couple days, but he wasn't there the whole time. Like, he's shooting how many movies at once? Like,
Right.
He can't be everywhere at once. But I remember he did like, I'm so optimistic. I'm like, this is the biggest movie of all time. And I remember he sat us down before he took us all to dinner. Before the movie opened, we were opening up against Godzilla, Rocket Man, like all this stuff. And he came and sat us down, and I think he was trying to lower our expectations because he was like, we already did it. Like, we already made a movie. It's a wide release, and it's up against Godzilla and Rocket Man. Whatever happens, happens. We already won, is what he essentially said. And I'm thinking there, I'm like, we're crushing Rocket Man. Like, what's this guy talking about? The Elton John biopic? Brother, we got Ma, all right? Like, that was kind of how my brain worked at that time. And it's how it works. Like, I'm such an optimistic person. Now, we came in third that weekend, but we still, like, did, I think, $26 million in the box office, which is great going up against those $2 million. The Godzilla budget was like $300 million. Ours was $5 million. So I remember even the following week, he had like called us and he was like, we did it. $26 million on a $5 million budget. Like that was, if you put that into perspective, Godzilla would have to done like $1.5 billion opening weekend to have the same budget to, box office opening weekend. So it was all a cool experience all around. Yeah.
So you have 40 episodes of Power.
Yeah.
Are there residuals on that when it...
Like, you do get residuals, and comparatively speaking to what it was back in the day...
Like network TV.
It's not even close. But yeah, there still is some residuals. But like, if someone did 40 or 50 episodes of a television show 20 years ago, they could probably live off that for the next 10, 20 years. Because you're still probably getting like $100,000 to $150,000 an episode a year.
In those residuals.
In those residuals. That's a very handsome salary to just hang out and then still book other stuff. Now it's not anywhere near that. So that's why you never really see like actors like have to go back and like work at a restaurant or do any of this stuff after they've been famous on a television show. I think you'll see a lot more of that in the next coming years because so many people have done shows that are streaming that got famous, but then they never booked again. And I think that's why there's a lot of child actors that never really work again, is because they book it when they're young and cute and like all this stuff, but they never really develop the skill to become a great actor. So they kind of disappear because it does get hard as you get older when you're going up against people. You got to really love this shit. And a lot of these kids were maybe pushed into it by their parents. So then when they're 17, 18, 19 and they're getting turned down, all it is rejection. And they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I didn't even really love this. My mom pushed me into this. So they got famous when they were younger from like a Disney show. And then they actually never really got the skills to become a great actor and have comedic chops and do all this stuff. Audition, that's also like it's skill in itself that really sometimes has nothing to do with how good you are as an actor.
For you as an actor now, how often are you auditioning?
I did 2 last night. Like I'm cranking them out.
Nonstop,
yeah.
everything that you're interested in.
Yeah, I turn down a lot of stuff, and I get offered a lot of stuff too, but like I would rather, I told this to my friend the other day, maybe I shouldn't say this, but like I would rather sell drugs or like go like do something like
Maybe I shouldn't say.
like legit, like I would rather like be a criminal and do something and not work for like 5 years than go and do like a bunch of like B shitty movies, because I feel like you lose your legitimacy as an actor as you're just like, okay, yeah, I'll do this for a paycheck. Now, some people don't have an option, and I understand that. And some people just want to be a working actor. I don't want to be a working actor. I'm really trying to set the bar high and be fucking great. So I turn down a lot of shit of like B movies or stuff like that they're like, oh, well, you know, we'll give them a, like, I could make, you know, $500,000 a year, maybe doing 4 or 5 B movies a year, but I turn them all down because I'm like, no, I only want to do great shit and work with great people.
What's like your big goal? Obviously the biggest movie in the world next to Leonardo DiCaprio, but like what's like, would you want to be on a Netflix film? Would you want to be on...
It doesn't matter to me. Like, it really doesn't matter where or what it is, as long as it's good and with great people and I like the role. Like, ideally, weirdly, I've always been like, oh, I want to be like Mark Wahlberg. Like, weirdly, for some reason, Bradley Cooper's career has been speaking to me a lot. Like, he didn't blow up until like maybe he was 33. I'm not in my 30s yet, but
what
like,
was his breakout?
Hangover.
Was it?
Yeah. Hangover. I think he had done a couple smaller roles in like Wedding Crashers or like stuff like that. But Hangover was his breakout, and then he started doing whatever he wanted after that. And that's like a fun comedy movie. And
I think it's one of the best movies of 2010.
Right. And he's still looked at as like a heartthrob. Like, I think Bradley Cooper's career is like, it's so funny. He's like, I think I would like to have his career. It's one of the greatest careers of all time. But like, really, that's like what I'm striving for. I feel like people like, and I love Timothée Chalamet, don't get me wrong, but like, I have a hard time because of my personality getting on board with some of these guys' careers that like they just take themselves too seriously. And I'm not saying that he does or doesn't, but like some of these guys are just like, they just take themselves too seriously. And I deal with actors like that a lot. I'm like, brother, you're not curing cancer, all right? Just put on someone else's clothes and have fun. I go back and forth a lot where I'm like, do I want to have a podcast? Do I want to do YouTube videos with the Kevin Langue show and like guest people? But I'm like, that's where I strive my personality. So I'm like, I will do it. I mean, Will Smith is on Snapchat now. Jack Black has a YouTube channel. Like, I feel like there's no rules anymore, you know?
Yeah, those walls are definitely down.
Yeah.
Kevin Langue show, so good.
So fun.
What's your experience on there?
That's my 3rd episode I did. I just did another one yesterday, probably come out in October. But all the comments are like, this is the best episode ever. Like, I feel like I have so much fun on that show, and those guys are the best. So,
did you have any scenes with 50 Cent?
No, because his character was dead. His character died the season 4 finale. I came in season 5, but he comes to set all the time, and we talk all the time. So, like,
what's that relationship like?
He's so cool, and like, he's the best. Like, anytime I go anywhere in any city, he brings me out on stage, like in front of 70,000 people. Now, obviously, Power, so big in America, UK, we're massive. Like, we're the most watched television show
in the UK.
Yeah, UK,
wow.
Like, yeah, insane.
Is that because of Starz, or is that because of the content yourself?
I weirdly, I think it's because Power is on Netflix in the UK. So, like, everyone can watch it. And in the US, like, it's only on Starz, but still, like, we're still getting 14, 15 million viewers an episode, which is nuts.
You know what's crazy to think about? If Netflix ever gets the rights to it in 5 years,
brother,
the boom.
It's the same thing that happened with Suits recently.
So many shows.
I pray they do, because it'll be lights out.
Like, The Office launched again back in COVID because
Right.
it was the only thing on streaming. Everyone was
Right.
going crazy with it.
Right. I hope that happens, and I think it will happen. But 50 is just he's so dope. And so one time, how I got really close with him when the show, like season 1, 2, 3, is I would go overseas. So he, like, when we were on hiatus, he would go on tour. So I would fly to like Poland and Czech Republic and go see him because he
What a life you have.
Yeah, because he had been on tour for like months. So I'm like, everyone goes to the LA show. Everyone goes to the New York show. There's 40 A-list rappers in his dressing room for the New York show.
Is this like how am I not stand out, but like I'm not gonna get a moment with him? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, not that I wouldn't get a moment with him, but like I love going to Europe and traveling too. So I'm like, oh, if I could fit in a 50 show, an MGK show, and also get to go to Italy, Greece.
Oh yeah, you're friends with MGK.
Yeah, but I'm like, if I'd get to go overseas, like I could weirdly fit all this in and get to go to a 50 show overseas. Like this is perfect. So, and then also I'm thinking like, oh, no one else is gonna be there. So like, we'll just hang out. So
we'll go bowling after. It'll be sick.
But literally, that's what we would do. So I would surprise him, and I would get to like Poland, or I saw a show in Warsaw, I saw a show in Czech Republic, I saw a show in Ireland, and I would go there, and he had not seen anyone besides Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda for like a month and a half, 2 months. So he sees me, and he's like, "Oh, thank God!" Like someone else. So I get to his dressing room like right when he does like sound check at like 5, and we're talking in his dressing room and if you know 50 personally. He will talk for hours. He's not the type of, like, there are some rappers that don't say anything, that just, like, sit there, like, whatever. 50 will talk for, like, 3-4 hours and just about everything. And you're just listening. You're like, this is so fucking cool.
Did you ever do a power pod with him?
No, but we will.
That's going to be good if it does.
Yeah. No, but we will, which I'm excited for. It's going to be a 9-hour Joe Rogan episode. But, so I would go there, and that's when I got super close to them. And he actually always like made that a point recently when I talked to him on the phone. He's like, you just get it. Like you fly to like Poland and you've like come to see my show. Like, I like you. Like we'd have those conversations where he's like, you would just get it. But yeah, that's kind of how I got close to him because there's no one else there, and you just kind of get to know each other, overseas and. Yeah, it was just cool. So, but
do you have his number?
Of course. But
should I
was on the phone with him yesterday.
Call.
It's so funny because everything he's actually shooting Street Fighter in Australia right now.
Dude, I saw who's in that? Noah Centineo.
Yes,
he's jacked.
Yes, yeah, he got big for that.
What's 50's role? Do you know?
I don't. I think they did announce it, but I don't know specifically what the role is. But the reason why I brought up that Poland story is because, like I don't think they have stars in Poland, so he still brought me out on stage in Poland. Was like, oh no, it's gonna be great. And UK, the roof almost went off the building when he brought me out. In Poland, everyone was so confused. They're like, who is this Eminem? Like, who is this like white guy he brought out? And the girl so we had brought a bunch of Polish girls, me and another guy that I know in Poland. We brought a bunch of Polish girls to the show, and then afterwards backstage we brought him back. And the girl said to me, she didn't understand why he brought me on his stage. She's like, is it your birthday? Why did he bring you out? She didn't understand that I was on his show, and I think no one did. And it was dead in there. But then I went up to 50, and he's so positive. I'm like, that was rough. And he's like, no, you're coming out tomorrow night too. I'm like, oh, God. Because I'm so used to, like, people were going nuts. He brings me on Atlanta, Houston. Everyone's going crazy. And he brought me on a Poland. It was like a pin would drop in there. I'm like, oh, that was a fucking hit to the ego.
What are you doing on stage with him?
Are
you just in the back?
He sings our theme song, Big Rich Town.
Uh-huh.
So he'll always do, how many of you watch Power? And then it goes into Big Rich Town. So if we're there, he'll bring us out, and then people go, oh, it's like bringing the Avengers out. He's doing the theme song of the show. We just did it a couple months ago in London, and everyone went nuts. 70,000 people, Tottenham Stadium, it sold out, it was crazy. But yeah, when he did Poland, it was dead. But he'll do Big Rich Town, and we'll just rap with him and do that, and then we get off. It's so cool.
What do you do with MGK? You guys are just boys?
Yeah, we're just close. I'm close with this band. But weirdly, for MGK Day in Cleveland, we were just
that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. We were all just like having fun and sitting by the DJ booth, and he had performed so many times, so he was trying to rest his voice for the big show on Sunday. So this was like Saturday night, and it was like just like a club. It was like it was maybe like 4,000 or 5,000 people there, but it was like this club Forward, and and they started playing like Mod Sun was there, so they started playing Mod songs, and they played Cleveland, an MGK song that I know. So Kels didn't want to sing because of his voice; he was saving it for the show. So they handed me the microphone, and it's always a bit because I do this really, really, really old song. Like I rap to them all the time. The song Cleveland. And
MGK's old song?
Yeah, like from like 15, 20 years ago. And I know the words to this song. So they handed me the microphone as like a joke, and I rap bar for bar, and everyone's dying laughing. Maybe people in the audience didn't understand like why I was rapping it bar for bar and why everyone's laughing. But then they did Stay Away, which is a Mod Sun MGK song. And I was like, he's like, do that verse too. So I did that verse. So it was kind of wild. Yeah, just like, yeah.
What is Hollywood life like now for you? Because I feel like you're pretty in the circles and you're going to the parties, you're doing the thing.
I was thinking about this the other day. I weirdly have so many friends in so many different circles where that doesn't usually happen.
I know you mentioned like you went to Harry, you and Harry were at David's and everyone's like, Harry. But I feel like you're that too.
Yeah, I guess I see it more because Harry at David's is like, you know, that basically would be like me at like, you know, Rolling Loud. You know what I mean? Like all the hit, like every rapper in the world watches Power, no matter what. So
like who? Who's coming up to you?
DaBaby. So I was at Dre's one night, and DaBaby,
Dr. Dre's
Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Dre's nightclub, and I'm in the section with MGK's band. And it was like me and Bow Wow, and DaBaby like in the audience like sees me, and he's like, "This is season 1 of Power." He sees me, and I see him like see me, and then he like didn't say anything. The next day he goes on his Instagram and goes, "Man, I swear I saw Brayden from Power at Dre's last night. Like, can someone confirm that?" And it went so viral. It was on No Jumper and all this stuff. I mean, everyone watches it. My birthday party, like A Boogie, Central C was there, Sleepy Hollow, like all these guys, even international artists, the Italian rappers, Rondo De Sosa, Baby Gang, like all these guys, every rapper watches Power. T Grizzly, I was at Rolling Loud with him, like every big rapper watches Power. You just name them and they watch it. So that's what's kind of cool. But Harry at like David's house is like, that's his bread and butter. But I weirdly feel like because of maybe it's my personality, I'm so personable and I love like making people laugh and having fun that people are like, oh, this guy's crazy. Like I want to be around him. So I'm friends with the LA socialite kids because I've had like friends that grew up like that, but also like now make movies and I've made movies with them. And I'm friends with the reality TV people like from Harry and all this stuff. And now I'm friends with like people in the hip hop industry. I'm friends with like actors because I've done projects with them. So I weirdly am in every circle because like, and then I met, I went with David one night to go shoot that, the
Bachelor thing?
Yeah. And I just went, and then I was just being like wild there and just being funny. And then Eli was like, come like hang out, and I'm like, all right. So then now I saw you at the gym at David's house with Elia, like, because people are just like, this guy's out of his mind, like let's just invite him around. I'm like, all right, like I like having fun. The reason why I'm in this industry is not for any other reason other than to enjoy my life and have fun. The money's cool, the cars are cool, I don't care about that stuff. It's just like a fun thing to do. But like I really just love laughing and having fun with like cool people. Like I get to hang out with every person that I've ever looked up to growing up. I'm like, this is great.
What's it like being in the orbit of the most famous rappers in the world?
With the rapper, or just like, but like when I walk in a room, like,
when you're with them, like just being around, like something like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's always cool. Like especially being with 50. Like we celebrated 50's 50th birthday party. Like I was with 50 for his 50th birthday at a club in London. He brings us on stage at the club after he just brought us on stage in London. And they're bringing out cakes and like all this stuff. And it's me, my co-star Michael, and 50 just in the section. They're bringing bottles to us. And I'm just like, I'm with 50 for his 50th birthday party. And everyone's just like watching us. Like, it's just wild. Like, it's just like, I never, expected this to be the case. But like, here it is.
Do you ever think back to when you were doing bookings for Theo?
Yeah, I mean, I am with Theo all the time. Like, I was just at the UFC fight with Theo ringside, and I just went to see his show last week in,
Have you been to Power Slap?
Yeah, I was with Theo at Power Slap in New Orleans.
What do you think of it?
It's insane.
Chaos.
But it's so fun. Like, again, it's another, like, fun thing. I always hated on it because I'm like, there's no, like, skill that, like, goes into this. And then I went there, I was like, I get it.
Yeah, once you, like, see it live and you understand there actually is a technique to it,
yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's weirdly how I got close with all the comedians, too, because I booked Theo's podcast.
You did the booking for it.
Yeah, essentially, I started working with Theo before he had got into a real studio. He was doing it from his like living room.
This is like 6 years ago, right?
Longer than that, maybe 7 years ago at this point. 7, 8 years ago maybe at this point. But he was doing the podcast in his living room. It was a solo podcast. And I was like, we kind of need guests, like, if you want to branch this out. And if you know the way Theo is, he's like, nah, man, like, I think I like the way we're doing this, man. And I'm like, just be open to it. So I started booking guests on it. And
what were you doing? Just reaching out from your accounts?
Yeah, I weirdly I created an email, and then I figured out a way how to book guests very easily, where you just reach out to a publicist. You reach out to a publicist that has a big.
That's what I do.
Yeah, you reach out.
Do you have anyone else on the roster that might be a good fit?
Yeah, and then they're like, oh yeah, we have this person promoting this, and you could say yes or no. Theo's very picky, so it was hard. And now like he's like, man, what about that plumber? That I was like, Theo, can we just get like some celebrities in here to like blow up the pod, and then like,
what about that Rizzler kid?
Yeah, like
I mean, that was a great episode though.
But that was now Theo can have on anybody, and the episode's gonna blow up just because of how talented he is. Like, I saw him at the Comedy Store 7, 8 years ago. So I started listening to This Past Weekend. That was a podcast, and at that point there was only like maybe 20,000 people listening to the episode, which is very low numbers, like compared to what it is now. He gets like 9 million views an episode. So I saw him at the Comedy Store. I'm like, this guy's fucking talented. He's so funny. No one really knew who he was. He maybe had like 30,000 followers on Instagram. And that's around the time I booked Ma. I went to go shoot Ma, made a little bit of money. It shot Power, got a little bit of money from the Abercrombie stuff. So I was like, I'm chilling for like 6-7 months. I don't need to work. So I was listening to This Past Weekend, and it was the weirdest thing. One of the PAs on the movie came and knocked on my trailer, was like, coming to set.
On Ma.
And he's like, we shot in Mississippi. He's like, hey man, are you listening to Theo? And I was like, yeah. And at that point, like, everyone knows who Theo is now. At that point, if you know who Theo was, you're like, oh, you're tapped into like comedy. Like, you know.
You get it. You're cool.
And I was like, yeah, how do you know him? He's like, he grew up on my dad's farm, man. And I was like, can you link me with him when I get back to LA? And he's like, yeah, no, I got you. Get back to LA. He reaches out to Theo, and he's like, this kid just shot a big movie. And I know a lot about, back then, so much about social media. So I'm like, tell Theo I want to help him with the social media, because he wasn't good at it. I'll tell Theo, you were not good at social media back in the day. But
I'm
like,
30K on Instagram.
Yeah, but he wasn't posting clips. He wasn't. This was pre like stand-up clips, pre podcast clips. Like, it was just like photos of him like doing random stuff. I'm like, Theo, like, we got to cultivate this. Like, you're so talented. So I was like, link me up with him. I sat down with Theo. I'm like, this is the plan. We post stand-up clips. We do this. We do that. This was pre-TikTok. And he's like, all right, man, you want to help? You want to help? Like, I can't pay you. I was like, it's fine. I don't want to get paid. So I start helping him with that. We start booking guests. And within a year, he maybe had like 1 million followers on Instagram. So he went on Rogan a couple times, murdered Rogan, went on Fighter and the Kid, and filled in for Brian Callen because he was touring a lot, murdered on that. We had huge guests on his podcast. It was also around the time where the studio we got was right, like you could knock on the wall, and it was the Fighter and the Kid studio. So Bobby Lee, Nick Swartz, and all these people would go do Fighter and the Kid. And then we would weirdly be doing episodes with like Mark Norman or like Andrew Schultz. And it was like this big community where like they would be like, oh, let's walk in on the episode. So Schultz would like walk in on like Theo and Swartz and do it. Was like this big like Friends thing almost, where like people would pop into each other's episodes. It was such a cool thing. Like D'Elia was murdering at that time, so like D'Elia would come in and out, and it was just like this big community where just everyone just blew up, and Theo took the fuck off. But I remember I would be listening to episodes where like no one was listening to them, and it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard anybody say in my life. I'd be crying behind the camera, and I'm like, I can't believe this doesn't have the views that it deserves. And now, if you see old viral clips, you'll hear my laugh in the background. If you see old viral clips, they have like millions and millions and millions of views, and I'm like, I always knew that would be the case, because genuinely, I'm not saying this like because I know him, he's my friend. He is pound for pound #1 the funniest person on planet Earth. I will fight anyone for that. He is like, what you see on stage is maybe 70% of it. What you see on the podcast is maybe like 50% of it. If you talk to him in person, he is the quickest, funniest. Some of the stuff that he says, I'm like, I can't even believe like that even you thought of that. He just genuinely is the funniest person alive. I will put that up against anything.
You being an actor, obviously back in like the 90s, the 2000s, comedians would try and get a TV show or a movie for the breakout. Is that something even on the table for somebody like Theo anymore, or no, because he's crushing it on podcasts and stand-up? Like, what's the point?
He gets so many. I actually remember
Like, are people making those offers? Like, you got to have a show, you got to have a movie.
To Theo?
Yeah.
Yes, and he turns them all down. He doesn't really like Hollywood. He just made a movie with David Spade. I'm curious when that'll come out. It's fucking hilarious. But he just made a movie with Spade by himself. I think like Tim Dillon's in it, Shane Gillis, like all these guys. They have like everyone come in on it, obviously. But I remember Theo. So basically, like once you're a touring comedian, you're making a lot of money. Like, say for an example, he has to go shoot a movie for 2 months. He's probably making a couple $1,000,000, like whatever. He's probably making a couple $1,000,000 on the road. He's probably only making like 200, 300,000 for that movie maybe. So like you're taking a massive pay cut as a comedian to go shoot it's weird. You don't really think like that, but like even if Theo were go shoot like a massive movie that'll be in theaters, he's taking a giant pay cut to take 3 months off of touring to go film this movie. So I remember that Chris Pratt movie that he did.
Which one?
Or that he booked and then wound up not doing it anymore. It was called The Tomorrow War. It was like an Amazon movie. I worked with Theo for weeks at the studio, getting him off book, like coaching him, doing all this stuff, because I was acting at that point, and Theo wasn't really a seasoned actor. And I drove him to the audition. We sat in the audition room together, and I think he was the only person reading for it. Like Chris Pratt wanted him for the role. And they were like, they're friends. So I was like sitting in the waiting room. He went in and then we left. And then a couple days later, like he booked it. Obviously, like they really wanted him for this role. They just want to see if he could do it. And he wound up backing out because I think like they had script changes and they wound up like the role was a lot less than what wound up being it. And it had nothing to do with Theo or Chris or anyone. It was just like a script thing of like time. And they cut a couple like major scenes out and it wound up not being what he thought it was going to be, and he had to take like 3 months off of touring. He's like, I'm going to lose so much money for this role that like wound up not being that big anyway, so he wound up backing out. I don't remember who took over the role, but he was supposed to be in that Tomorrow War movie.
There's really no point to taking on a role like that.
Yeah, maybe back in the day, like you're trying to, as a comedian, like get a show to get more fans, but like because of social media, you could just post. Like you see Theo everywhere on TikTok. He doesn't need any more fans.
He could sell out a tour entirely on his own.
Yeah. So
that's crazy. That model is just gone.
Yeah. But like I think there is some value to it for sure. Like if Theo did like a Hangover type movie, like it just broadens his audience, and I think he's so fucking talented that like anything he does, like he's just gonna crush. Like I it's so crazy, but I just have so much belief in him because I see what 99.9% of the world doesn't see, and it is like really him in real life of how fucking smart and talented he is. So I think anything he does is just gonna blow him up more. Just like the more people that see him, the more people that are gonna love him.
Wow. So you're just hanging out with 50, MGK, Theo.
I know. Harry Giles. It is like a weird, like, yeah, I don't know. I just like, I will say I'm a fucking fan of people, and I don't have any ego about that. Whereas like a lot of people who get famous are like, they try and be too cool for school. I'm like, no, like Central C was my favorite artist for like the past couple of years. Finally, I hadn't got to really meet him yet. Trapstar, which is a clothing brand in London, huge. They were doing a campaign and they wanted me to do a scene with Sench for the campaign. I'm like, duh. So they flew me to London. I was already weirdly I was in London for, I think I was doing something. Was I doing something with 50 or something? I just shot something, so I was like, I'm gonna go vacation in London. And they're like, oh, do you want to come shoot this with Sench? I'm like, bet, set it up. Went, met Sench. Obviously, like, we hit it off. He was the best. We had fun. And I finally met him. All his boys watched the show. So, like, I don't think he watched Power at the time, but he was like, he came to my trailer and he's like, you know, like, after we're done, like, can you take pics with all my boys? I'm like, yeah, just, like, get a pic with me. And so he was like, bet, we got it. So I took a pic with, like, everyone in his camp. There was, like, 10, 15 guys. And we just like locked in. And then, so when he came to the US to do his tour, I went to a bunch of shows and he came to my birthday party. Like we just really became friends. But like he knows I'm a fan of his music and I have no problem telling people that. I have no problem like telling Kels, like, I'm a fan of your music. I have no problem, like 50, obviously everyone's a fan, but like even like smaller people, like comedians, like Andrew Santino, all these guys, like I have no problem being like, I'm a fan of you. And I think that's what's maybe disarming about it and why people like me. Cause I'm like, I love your shit. Like Theo, like I'm a fan of, even when he gets off stage, I'm like, dude, that bit with this, like, dude, I'm a fan of people. So I feel like that's why people like me. Cause I'm not too cool for school. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm one of you. Like, I don't care if you see me as like this or that, like, you know?
Did you listen to new MGK?
Yeah. I mean, I was with him the whole time they made that album.
Where do you record it? Here in LA?
At his house. Yeah. So his house, which I think everyone knows, he bought Logan Paul's old house. It's in Encino. I lived in Calabasas at that time. So I would come home from being out or wherever, and I have to pass his house to get to my house. So I'll just, like, the first couple weeks, I would hit them up, be like, what are you guys doing? They're like, we're at the crib. We're just recording. Just come by. So then I was like, all right. So then I would just text him, and I would be like, all right, I'm coming by, whatever. And then after the, because I stopped there and then I would go home and then I would be there till 4, 5, 6 in the morning, like just hanging out. And then it wound up becoming a thing where like they would ask me to come. They're like, can you come by? Like vibes are low or whatever. Like, so I just come and to try and make everyone laugh.
We need Gianni.
Yeah. So, and then it wound up becoming a thing where like, nobody asked or anything. It just was expected that I would just show up. So it initially started as a rap album, and then it started as like a 2-part album, and then it just was all Lost Americana. So I was there the whole time they were making.
Oh yeah, it was supposed to be a rap album at first.
Yeah, and then it was a 2-part album, and then it just wound up being Lost Americana. And the rap songs he has are crazy. I'm dying for him. I have a lot of them on my phone, but I'm dying for him to release them.
Do you think they'll ever see the light of day?
Yes, they will. They have to. Like, I tell them, like, they have to.
Convince them.
There's also another song that went viral on TikTok that I was like, you have to release this. And he's like, really? I was like, yes. And he just said at MGK Day that he's releasing that song. So hopefully I can get in his ear to be like, release a lot of more of the hip-hop stuff. Please, please, please. Yeah. He's got a bunch of crazy songs with Young Thug, like, all this stuff. So I was there to witness, like, from top to bottom to when I was sitting next to him when Bob Dylan posted him on Instagram, and I'm like, dude, it was just crazy to like see like how it all happened. But yeah, I used to stop there, and then it just became a thing like, all right, Gianni's gonna come by. I'm like, all right, fuck, until 6 a.m.
What do you have coming up now? I see the podcast is posting clips and stuff.
Yep.
Is there anything happening with that?
Yes, we're in the midst of bringing it back, which I'm excited. Like, Hollywood's in a weird place right now where like they're not making a lot of stuff.
The audience was crazy.
Top 10 every week, Apple TV and Film podcast. Like, people are begging for it to come back, so we're gonna bring it back. I just don't like I don't like sitting around, and I get that is a lot of being an actor, but like you have to book a job and then you go do the job and then you're sitting around waiting to book another job. Like, I kind of weirdly like the podcast because like we're on our own schedule and time and do all this stuff. So.
Are you throwing in who you want to talk to also?
On the podcast?
Yeah.
Like saying who we want to?
Yeah, like
yeah.
We
We want to open it up more, which is also a cool way. It's like how I met Fat Joe and how it's kind of a cool way to like meet people. Keith Lee, we had Keith Lee on. It's a cool way to like also network and meet people and let people know kind of who you are. It's funny, you turn the hat around and it says UFC. There's a lot of UFC fighters that watch Power 2 that are also on my close friends. So my close friends is also like a big thing where like when I get close with someone, I add them to my close friends and they see the real me. They're like, oh, this guy's out of his mind. So like I have like, who's someone who is like every time I post it, like one of the first watchers of it, Israel Adesanya.
Wow.
He sees my close friends and watches, he's like, this guy's fucking out of his mind.
Who do you think's going to be at the White House UFC?
I don't know. Who should, like, who's your dream card? Like, if you could build the card.
I've always wanted to see, obviously, Aspinall, John Jones.
For sure.
No one believes that he's going to do it. But then Conor McGregor's training again, too.
Dude, he's always training again for who
Is
knows?
he, though? Or is that just, like, to stay in the news, stay relevant?
I don't know. I feel like at that point, like, okay, for me, once you get that amount of money, it's like, what's the point of staying relevant?
Right.
What's the point? You did it. You made $1 billion from your... maybe because he wants to do more movies or this and that, but like you did it. Like, what does it matter if you're relevant in fight news?
But it's almost more of a like a personal
An
thing.
aura? Oh, yeah.
Like maybe he wants to prove to himself that he still can do it. He's still that guy. Because I'm sure there's something deep down where he's like, I lost it, but maybe he has to prove it to himself.
I used to
again.
have this argument all the time with my friend, because my friend who used to be a professional fighter, he said, once you get that amount of money, you lose the drive. And I always thought, like, why would you lose the drive? You just have more money to like get a hyperbaric chamber and like take care of yourself more. But then
just get a bigger sauna.
Yeah, I'm like you. The money is actually like you fly private and then you don't have to sit in an airport. Like I feel
There's
like,
no struggle really.
Yeah, I'd be like you'd be a better fighter, but like now I kind of see where it's like no, because like why am I gonna get kicked? Like why do I want to get kicked in the head in training? I'm starting to understand more of like why Conor is moving the way he's moving. It's like, yeah, who really cares? Like, why do I want to fight in the UFC 5 times a year and get kneed in the head? I got $800 million.
I was just gonna
There's
ask
no grit.
if you got like if you became the biggest actor in the world, would you stop acting? But I guess you're not being choked out.
For sure, you're not being choked out. And no, I would actually just act more because it's more fun.
Right.
You get the better roles.
You pick your stuff.
You get the bigger trailer. You get the Wahlberg trailer, the Winnebago.
Have you met Wahlberg?
No, I've seen him at like UFC fights and stuff like that, but he's definitely one of the guys that I have never really, kicked it with or came in contact with. I will, but that time is just not come yet. But his brand Municipal follows me on Instagram and sends me stuff all the time. But I'm like, tell Mark like about your boy, like so they know who I am. But I don't know, maybe. Weirdly, it's like someone at a PR company that works at a PR company. Maybe they do all the municipal stuff. They watch Power and they like send it to the Power guys. But Mark might not watch Power and know who I am. So it's like it's kind of like a weird thing where I'll tell someone like even with like Sench's guys, like they're the guys that watch Power. So they're the ones probably bringing me around or in Sench's ear being like, oh. The guy from Power, and he's like, oh, yeah, like, I like him all this, and then they meet me, and they're like, oh, yeah, he's cool, but, like, it's weirdly, a lot of times, like, it's someone in their camp that knows who I am, and then that's how I get close to that person, they're like, oh, we like him as a person,
right.
It doesn't even matter about the show, because I don't think Kels had ever watched Power, but everyone in his band watches Power, so that's kind of how I got close with all them, and then now, obviously, I'm tight with Kels because, but I don't think he's seen an episode, to be honest.
I worked out with Wahlberg 3 times at F45.
Oh, was it cool?
It's sick.
Yeah?
Yeah, he walked over, gave me a fist bump. What's up, brother?
So what is he?
He just has such like. He has aura when he walks into a room.
Yeah.
He commands the room,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just doing the workout just to do it with everybody.
Now, do you think the aura comes from him being him, or you think like if he wasn't Mark Wahlberg, even if he walked into a room, he would have that aura?
If he wasn't an actor and he was like an electrician, yeah, I think he still has that aura.
Okay, cool.
Because he's still that
it's good to
jacked.
know.
He still has that confidence. He's
Yeah.
still looking around. Like, he wants to meet everybody, say hi. I think that's that aura. I think
fire.
you have that aura when you walk into the room, too. And we were at that party. I'm like, I was supposed to do a podcast with him.
Yeah. Who's someone that you're, one of your, like, celebrity people that you met and you're like, oh, this was...
Like, they were just dope?
Yeah, or someone that you wanted to meet that you did meet, or someone that you, like, became friends with that you never thought you would become friends with?
Brian Baumgartner from The Office.
Oh, cool.
He
He came on the podcast.
We did I did food videos and we did a chili mukbang together. And then since then we've done like 10 shoots together.
Oh,
and now I'm
cool.
like kind of his filmer for when he has bigger stuff for internet stuff. And we just hit it off since, and he's the nicest dude.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, he is a nice dude. He came in when I was working at a restaurant in West Hollywood. He came in and I waited on him. He was super nice.
That's cool. Was he with anybody?
No, he was alone. Wow. Yeah.
Do you remember your first big check that came in?
Yes.
Was it from Ma?
No. I lost money on that movie. The first big check was my first episode of Ghost, of the book 2 of Power.
When you were the guest?
Regular. No, when I was one of the leads.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you do with it?
I was in $20,000 worth of credit card debt. I owed Octavia Spencer 12 grand? 10 or 12 grand?
But you didn't technically you want to just pay that back on your own.
Yeah, but in my mind, I owed her that. Like, at no point was I thinking, like, I was never going to pay her back. Like, I knew I was going to pay her back. So I owed her that. I was in $20,000 worth of credit card debt. And then there was, like, parking tickets and everything. That whole check was gone by the time that first episode was gone of all the debts that I owed. But, yeah, that was the first check I got. And
that must have felt so good.
Yeah, and then I went to Flight Club, and I bought Space Jams. I bought Cement 3s, and I bought one other pair of shoes. I don't remember what. Maybe Cool Gray 11s.
Have you gone to Cool Kicks?
Yeah, I've gone to Cool Kicks. Yeah. Yeah, fire in there. But this was when Flight Club was first, like when Flight Club was the thing. I don't think they're even open anymore in LA. But I went there, and yeah, that's what I spent my money on.
Hell yeah. Well, what do you have coming up?
Literally, I'm auditioning now. Like back in the game, I was supposed to go do the show. I don't know how much I can say, but I was supposed to go doing the show in the UK. Not happening anymore. A lot of like political stuff, budgets, this and that. So I was planning on doing that show for months, and I stopped kind of auditioning, and then now I'm not doing the show anymore. So I'm like, all right, we're back in the game, baby, as an actor. That's just how it is. So obviously, Trust just came out, which was so dope. And that'll be, I'm curious if it'll be on like for rent on Amazon Prime and all that stuff, and then Paramount Plus. But it might still be in theaters, hopefully, by the time this comes out. So go see it. That was with Sophie Turner. That was so dope. Katie Seagal, TV legends, Reese Corio from Entourage. So that just came out. But yeah, like back in the game, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone can subscribe to you on your podcast channel? Is that the YouTube channel you're pushing?
I have a YouTube channel too, which I haven't vlogged in a minute, but like my vlogs are nuts if you go watch them. It's like me in a strip club with like T.I. and Chris Brown and Bow. It's just like nuts. But Gianni V. Paolo, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and then also the crew has it, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Yeah. Do you have a girlfriend, right?
Wife.
Oh, you're married.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I was thinking about getting one. I just was curious what you thought of it.
Yeah.
Not a wife, a girlfriend, but yeah.
Get him.
All right, good deal, dude.
All right, see you, everybody. That was so good.